Okay, since we accidentally deleted the video I did yesterday for rolling out the dough, I'm going to do some more today. I start out by sort of warming the dough up a little bit in my hands. This has been in the refrigerator overnight. The thing with this dough is that it's made out of sour cream, right? So it's super stretchy, which is great because there's very, very little waste. You're able to combine and recombine this, two or three times usually, and get it, you'll figure out how to play the how big is my dough game with your cutter and how many pieces you can get cut out of one piece at a time. You have to be efficient with that. If you haven't done it a lot, it's a fun kind of thing to learn how to do. I'm going to roll this out pretty thin. Not as thin as a pie crust, but almost. I'm sorry I don't really have a better idea for measurement. We'll know when we get there, and I'll show you. It's probably going to be the best way to hopefully. I'm exhausted. Okay, you can look and see like about that thin. Maybe a little thinner. If it starts, sometimes after you cut them, they start to plump up a little bit. And then if you smash them out, you end up with pierogi that are half the size of a dinner plate. So it really benefits you to make sure that when you roll it out, it's not too thick. I mean, it's just, the dough is delicious, okay? But I like the fillings. I like the whole whole thing together, so I don't want to fill up on bread necessarily. Or at least not just one kind of bread. Especially at Easter time, which is usually when I make these. I used to do them for Christmas too once in a while, but everybody likes them. And you can really play around a lot with the fillings. You can add just about anything you want to mashed potatoes. We used to do roasted jalapeno peppers and bacon and caramelized onion and mashed potato with some cheddar. Those are pretty good. I've made dessert ones. I guess dessert pierogi is a Polish thing. And then it's kind of cool because pierogi, they're all kind of related. Gyoza, Chinese dumplings, Russian, they have one, I can't think of the name of it. Theirs are a lot smaller and they usually have meat in them. And they don't cook it. They'll put the meat in there raw and then they'll cook it in the dumpling, like Chinese people do and Japanese people do with their gyoza. I'm thinking that dumplings probably made their way across with the Mongols. I don't know that, of course. I'm just a wild ass guess out of the middle of nowhere while I'm cutting these stupid things. But it wouldn't surprise me much. There's a lot of common food, culture to culture. Almost everybody has a pickled cabbage. Everybody has a chicken and rice of some sort. Fuck myself here. Okay. So. So you can see these are all about the same size. They're all about the same thickness. When you start filling them, you don't want your filling to be warm because or wet. Those are both very important things because any dampness will cause the dough to start to break down. All right, so this is all that reclaimed trim dough. And I just kneaded it a small bit. You watched me do that, and rolled it right back out again. And as you can see, it's just as nice as it was the first time we rolled it out. So there's no reason to be throwing this dough out. It's a big batch. 6 dozen is a lot. I'd rather have you cut the batch down than try and make more than you need and try and freeze it. And people do it. My mom does it. I've done it. I don't like how they taste, or it's just wrong. I don't know. Anyway, you can see that it's pretty easy to get them back together. So now let's fill a couple. Okay, so we got a little bit of water here in case we need to dab on to close them. You don't want to stretch them out any more than you want to kind of keep them the same size. So I just sort of give it one of those. Those of you that know can have the free chuckle for that. And the trick is to get about 2 bites, bite and a half of filling. You know, this whole device here should be 2 bites, maybe 3. Right? Certainly no more than that. Now I gotta be careful here. See, I'm close to the edge, so we gotta watch that. It's much better to keep your edges clean and then kind of let them meet each other. Okay, see that? How it's nice and clean all the way through. There's no goop. The potatoes are nice and tight. We pinch all this shut, right? And then I like these little gyoza twists that I learned because I think they look cool and I think it makes sure that they're closed. But if you want to use a fork or something, you go ahead and go buck wild with that. I won't judge you for it. That's kind of a style point thing anyway. So, all right, so that's a potato. Now kraut, kapusta specifically, is a little weirder because it doesn't stay in the same place as nice as potatoes do. So you have to be a little more careful with your edges. I generally have more blowouts when I do these than when I have the potatoes. And they don't often explode on me, but you know, usually 1 or 2. And it's disappointing because then you have to stop what you're doing, change your water out. If you made this correctly, it should be buttery enough that you can kind of just mash it together. Sorry, is that better? You can see kind of I'm just sort of smushing it together again. I'm watching the edges so nothing gets on them, right? Make sure we get a nice clean close all the way down the sides, right? So far these haven't required any sort of I also do this part on the table. I think it works better. It makes the bottom of the dumpling, the pierogi, flat. These are basically giant gyoza, you know, but that's kraut, that's potato. Thanks for watching.